Hello, everybody. I'm so honored to welcome you to another edition of Notes from Hollywood on PromoHomo.TV because my guest today is just an extraordinary human being. Songwriter, musician, and composer Heather Reid has had an electrifying career both on stage and off the stage. She's also had a winding personal journey that's left the world looking a little brighter and sharper, and has made her more determined to inspire others and embrace all that life has to offer. I talk about my show Notes from Hollywood profiling people who are passionately pursuing professions in the entertainment industry. And that's sort of the business side of being an artist. But what is so overwhelmingly compelling about my guest today is that her art just supersedes everything, as does the power of her new music video, Right Here, Right Now. To share some of the lyrics, I'm just going to say that, toward the beginning of the song, take a deep breath. Don't cover up the pain. People talking, why do I feel ashamed? No, this can't be knocking at my door. Scary movie. I've been here once before. Which beckons the question, what have you done in your life when you've been up against something scary? In Heather's case, it was facing a potentially terminal illness. As a person living with HIV, I've had my own situations dealing with my own mortality. Facing the HIV/AIDS epidemic in the early 80s as a gay man, that's when I learned the value and the sanctity of life. I find that when any of us come face to face with our own mortality, and we learn more about the value of every breath we take, every moment that we're living, and how we choose to yield our life force, it makes a huge difference from that point forward. Perhaps my guest today, Heather Reid, shares that experience. We'll find out from her after this. My guest today, Heather Reid, formerly of the lesbian alt-rocker band The Murmurs with Leisha Hailey of the L Word fame, has had quite a journey since her days with the band, having gone on to have twin boys with her then partner, to divorcing, remarrying, and more recently, surviving acute myeloid leukemia. It's been a journey. Heather has recently found her way back to music and released the new single, Right Here, Right Now, about this new chapter in her life. That song, Right Here, Right Now, by Heather Reid, is available on all music platforms. It's going to be available from the front page of Notes from Hollywood, of PromoHomo.TV. If you go there, you'll find this episode of Notes from Hollywood on the front page. The music video is embedded there. I've been listening to it all morning. With that said, I'm just so delighted to bring to the show today Heather Reid. Hi, Heather.
Good morning, Nicholas.
You know, we did have a nice conversation before the show because we both checked in early. I feel like I know you, and one of the reasons I feel like I know you is because you are so intimate and revealing in your music video. That anybody who watches that really has a deep look inside your heart and soul. Would you agree?
Well, I try to just be as authentic as I can when, well, in the video, obviously, as I was singing it, because that song is so close to my heart. But just even when I perform, I mean, I just say to myself, okay, you're doing this because you wanna do this. I remind myself through the nerves, you're here because you want to be here. And then, the minute I get to singing, I just sing my heart out, like the phrase.
Well, I was I was watching your music video over and over again, and then because I have my AirPods in, I could wander around, continuing to listen to it when I wasn't watching it. And but because I was watching it, I talked about facing our own mortality and whether or not that makes a difference in how we choose to live our lives going forward. You learned that you had this diagnosis, and in the lyrics you referenced having been here once before. Is that a direct reference to a previous health scare?
No, it's a reference to something that happened to me when I was 22. I lost. I don't really want to talk about that.
That's
But no,
fine.
no. But what I want to say is that I went through a serious tragedy, an unusual tragedy, and it really, when looking back today, when at my recent diagnosis that my body had, um, I really reflected deeply on, like, what the heck? Why? How did this happen to me? Because I've always kind of know this about myself, that I have a strong light inside of me. And so even though I've been through this tragedy when I was 22, I couldn't kind of wrap my head around how this happened to me. And then all of a sudden, I connected the two experiences, and I realized that I lived kind of my whole life with this feeling like, well, something bad happened to me when I was 22, so you know anything can happen. And when I got the diagnosis, and even maybe more on the other side of it, I kind of had this revelation, like, I drained, I feel like this is a very spiritual thing from coming from uh, my heart, but I just feel like I drained my energy centers. And even though, like, the light was still on inside, I was just kind of, I used every bit of me to get to where, from point A to point B. I hope that's not too wordy, but that's my experience.
No, I think it's very important. The chorus of your song, I have an energy that soars up above. I've got a light inside that flares with my love. No matter what they say, I'll never give up. I'm gonna stay right here, right now, with you. I think anyone watching the song would feel like it's a personal message to them. Was it a personal message to someone in particular? Was it to everyone or both?
It was a personal message to myself.
Ah,
Yeah,
I didn't think of that.
yeah. I reminded myself of who I am, and I'm so different on the other side of the leukemia journey, because I did face mortality in a way, and I just, I want to be here. I want to be here, and not only do I want to be here, but I want to be present, and I want to be, um, just want to enjoy every moment. And now I do. I'm not caught up in the small stuff. I'm right here, right now. It's all about being present, and I live in gratitude, and I just see things very differently now. And I always did before. Sorry, I don't want to overstate it, but I always did have a lot of gratitude, which is just who I am. But it's just like on a completely different level now.
Yeah, there are moments in our lives that focus us on what's important, that refocus us on those things. I've just placed on the screen that if people comment during the live broadcast, I can put their comment on the screen if it is relevant to what we're talking about. How did you get into music?
Well, I guess it all started with the musical Annie. I guess in the 70s. Uh, I just well, my parents took me to see that show on Broadway, and that was the beginning of it all. Then the musical performances started in the living rooms, as most people like me are. And yeah, it started there. But like around 12, my parents got divorced, and I wrote my first song, and it was called Divorce.
Oh, okay then. Well, write about what you know, they always say.
Exactly.
Did you have siblings?
Yes, I have a brother, a younger brother.
And was he at the Broadway show with you?
Um, I don't remember. That's a good question. I don't remember.
All you remember is Annie.
Yeah, all I remember is Annie.
Okay. And what was it that inspired you? A lot of artists have day jobs. How did you balance your art with the need to make a living, and how often in your life have you been able to make a living with your art?
Well, I used to call I used to call music the rock and roller coaster. And we got signed. Leisha and I got signed when we were really young. We were, I think, 22 going on 23. And so we were just fresh out of college, and we were just living the dream. There was like no question. I mean, we had money in a coin jar. We lived off of pizza in New York, and we were just living the dream. And so, yeah, we got a record deal at a very young age, and then that lasted for quite some time. And so we were on the road touring, and then when things kind of like calmed down a little bit, we had to be creative. I mean, there were times like where I worked in a coffee shop, or I painted houses and helped build sets and things like that to supplement. And then I just kept plugging away, and I was able to get another publishing deal, or compose music for commercials. And so you just kind of figure it out for yourself. And I always say now, like, if my kids want to get into the music business or into acting, I think that's great, but I think they should also get maybe a business degree along with that, because I think that would have helped me.
It was something to fall back on. I'm just going to read some of your official press information, because I'd love for you to pick something out from it that you might want to talk about. So you kicked off, Heather, it says, kicked off her onstage career as one half of the chart-topping alt-rock duo The Murmurs. Founded with Leisha Hailey, the pair toured with the likes of Bush, Joe Jackson, and Adam Ant, and also graced the stages of Sarah McLachlan's Lilith Fair before transforming into the band Gush. Years later, Heather joined with Ryan McMillan and John Skibic of Push Stars and the Afghan Wigs and Gigolo Aunts, respectively, to form Redcar, a band that was selected as a Yahoo Music Critical Eye artist. And you released a deeply personal studio album, Crosswords, produced by longtime collaborator Michael Eisenstein, who's known for Letters to Cleo. That's quite a varied background.
Yeah, we used to call a lot of our fun moments Forrest Gump moments. Remember in that movie, he would just have these unbelievable experiences.
Yes.
So I mean, that's what we used to say. Leisha and I once played for a Kent State reunion with Peter, Paul, and Mary, and I loved Peter, Paul, and Mary. And I said to Leisha, I was like, oh, "This is a Forrest Gump moment. What is happening right now? We're on the stage with Peter, Paul, and Mary singing The Answer Is Blowing in the Wind." I mean,
oh, wow.
Yeah, we've had some incredible experiences. I've had some incredible creative experiences. I've worked with some of my greatest idols. No complaints, just gratitude.
Now, you talked about being inspired by a Broadway show earlier in life, and then your first show was a musical entitled Dear Bernard, which premiered in LA as a sold-out smash hit. Was that more akin to a Broadway show or a musical concert?
No, it was. I mean, we were trying to get that show to go all the way. It was an
Oh, so it was
amazing. It was
musical
a musical. It was a
theater.
full musical. Yeah, it was a full musical that we performed in Los Angeles, and we had a few runs with it, and it was that was one of it was a another wonderful wonderful time in my life, and an incredible cast. And the cast was basically just all the largest group of all my friends. Everyone wanted to be in it, and it wasn't like you had to audition for it. It was like, you really want to be in it? Great, come on. And we just had so much fun, and I think it was like we became such a family, and I think that's what made the show so special, to be honest. But yeah, Dear Bernard, I might bring that back eventually, but I've got some other projects I'm working on. So
That would be really cool. In your music video, you showcase stories of triumph and times of protests, how they're connected. You show ACT UP demonstrations, pride parades, Black Lives Matter Plaza, Diana Nyad finishing one of her world record swims. I was very touched by the footage of you on the treadmill with a bald head, filled with energy, smiling brightly, and boxing all a Rocky style. I loved
yes,
that.
thanks.
Tell me more about what it was like to get the resolve to fight and live through your diagnosis and come out on the other side.
Oh, there was no question that I was going to come out on the other side. Um, I just, first of all, I was completely in shock when I got the original diagnosis of AML. Um, I was completely healthy. I'm the kind of person that goes to the yearly checkups. I'm really responsible like that. I just went for the checkup, and my doctor called about a week later. Something's not right with your platelets. So, one thing led to another, a few more appointments with different doctors, and they told me I had the acute myeloid leukemia. I really didn't believe it at all. And it was kind of, like, here's all you need to go through. And if you go through this, you could be cured. It's curable. And so I was like, okay, so give me the timeline. Is it like a month, 2 months, 3 months? And they're like, it's 3 months, but it's a year. I was like, okay, um, I could do that. When you look back and you're like, wow, where did the time go? And I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll just get through it, and I'll look back and go, where did the time go? And you know, I'll get through it. But it was definitely physically one of the most trying experiences, and emotionally, because, I was away from my kids. It was really, really challenging, without any question. But there was just never a doubt that this was my exit.
Did you have is one of the treatments a blood marrow transplant? Do they do?
No,
Is that part of it?
it's called a bone marrow transplant, and
Oh,
so
that's what I meant. Yeah.
it's three different conditionings, and each conditioning takes your blood level down to zero, or as low as it can go, and so that makes you really vulnerable to anything, anything. So it's interesting now. We're all wearing masks to protect ourselves. Well, I basically, either I was in a mask or the people around me had to be in masks for almost a full year, when I was going through this. So that's a strange turn of events that we're back there now. But no, it's three different intense conditionings, and it was, yeah, there were some intense, scary moments. There was one moment where I thought, like, oh my gosh, like, is this what it feels like? Is this what it feels like when you're in trouble? And I just talked to my body every day. I meditated. I talked to my body. I loved my body. I acknowledged my body. It really felt like a soul inside of my body. And I have so much to live for. I have my two beautiful children. my beautiful wife,
Your
my
children are twin
my twin
boys,
boys, 10 years
10 years
old.
old.
And I have the most incredible circle of friends, and my friends are my family as well. So there was just no way. I wasn't ready. I'm not ready.
Some of your friends might be watching. I'm inviting viewers who are watching live to comment, but if I'm not sure if you're watching this broadcast on a page that someone has shared it to, that I can see your comments. So for anybody that might be commenting, if I'm not reading out your comments, it's because I personally am not seeing them. But if people are commenting on my official YouTube channel or my official Facebook page, I can include your comments there or over on Periscope. One of the moving moments of your music video for me is when you show Robin Tyler and Diane Olsen in front of throngs of media. It could have been at one of many of their personal connection to marriage equality victories because they were very involved. The reason that that is so striking to me is that Diane Olsen is no longer with us, and that's such a contrast of so Diane isn't with us, but her life force created change for all of us, which speaks to the importance of each of us living our truth and expressing it in each and every moment. Is that an intentional message of your video for people to really live in the moment and live their lives?
Well, everything in the video is definitely intentional. Um, I think we all have a life force, and we're all trying to figure out how to have the best life. I mean, I think that's everybody's intention. Um, and as far as like the imagery and what I'm trying to say in the video is, yes, be present, fight for yourself, and fight for the good. And when you're in gratitude, you're receiving, and that's the place that we need to be to make a difference.
What was your spiritual practice in your life that gave you all these tools to access during this big challenge?
Well, it's so funny because spiritual is such a broad word. I've
Well,
always
however you
considered
want to
myself,
describe it.
yeah, I've always considered myself spiritual, but honestly, it's just love. I mean, I don't mean to be general, but yeah, I've just believed in a higher power. I lost my mom when I was really young, and I've always talked to her, and I was very close with my grandmother. I lost her the year after I lost my mom, and I talked to them. I used to, pray to them and talk to them, and I always kind of had to believe that there was more out there, because I felt like I got messages and things like that, um, and I feel like I've got angels around me. I'm one of those people, and yeah, I've just always been a person that leads with love and gratitude, and I think that that's taken me and continues to take me where I need to get and where I'm going and where I am.
That's fantastic. I've had a spiritual connect. I would describe it as spiritual for myself, but a lot of my connection to gratitude has to do with my long-term work in 12-step programs. That's there's a big focus on gratitude there. So that helped me a lot. Speaking of gratitude, City of Hope is where you received treatment. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, I love City of Hope. It's a wonderful place. It does specialize in acute myeloid leukemia and other diseases. They're phenomenal, phenomenal.
I have a close friend who, well, the husband of a partner of mine. City of Hope saved his life, and he's no longer with us. But he City of Hope did save his life, and he didn't die from the issue he was facing. And it could have been precisely what you have you experienced. I'm not sure, but I do know there are so many stories of City of Hope saving people's lives.
Yeah, I think they gave themselves a good title.
We have a comment from Sweden. And you can see it right there. Big love to you from Sweden. You are and have always been a big inspiration. Thank you for being you. Love you. Hey, look over there. What does the quote "Hey, look over there" mean? Is that an inside joke?
Yes, I actually went to high school with Scott, and we were musical theater pals. He used to get all the leads in all the musicals, by the way. I was in the chorus. But he's a dear friend, and we've been friends for many years. And the "Hey, look over there" was just a funny thing. We came up with this thing, it's like, "Hey, look over there." Over where? And it was a constellation of the communication, of the delegation, of the somethingification, and we came up with all these big words and put them together. And I still actually use that not the "Hey, look over there" part, but all those big, words together when people start talking to me, and with words I just don't know the meaning, and I have no shame in saying, okay, I don't know what that word means that you just said, that giant word that you just mean. So anyway, I don't even know if that makes sense, but thanks, Scott. Thanks for watching, and thanks for sending a note all the way
And
from
thanks for
Sweden.
watching all the way. I wonder what time it is in Sweden. I just want to show your single cover. The new single is right here, right now, from Heather Reid, available on all music platforms. You can watch the music video on YouTube. Is there anything that you would like to talk about that we haven't? Oh, here's Scott saying, "So impressed you remember." Is there anything what you'd like to talk about that we haven't gotten to in our interview today?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say to everybody, through any hard time that you're going through, just remember to connect with the love inside, and remember to stay in gratitude, because I do think that's very healing. And then I also want to say, my challenging story doesn't define me, but it certainly continues to inspire me of what I'm capable of. And I wanted to share that I'm working on some new musicals, and we're going to try to get them onto the Broadway stage. And so please, continue to see the work I'm creating, and hopefully I'll see you on Broadway someday.
Now, you do have a website, heatherreidmusic.com. What sort of information is there? Is that something you update?
Yeah, I just have like everything that I'm working on and everything that I've done on there. Heather Reid Music.
Heatherreidmusic.com.
Yes.
Well, I know you have lots of opportunities to choose where to spend your time, and I'm really grateful that you chose to be on Notes from Hollywood today. I feel honored to connect with you, and I look forward to following your art, and wish you the best. And I'm very touched.
Thank you. I'm really touched too. I really appreciate the interview.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to the next time.
Me too. And good luck
Okay.
to you too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been speaking with Heather Reid. You can find her song right here, right now, wherever music is sold. Go to heatherreidmusic.com. Heather, if you stick around there, I can talk to you for a minute after the show. For those of you who are watching, there are 5 shows being produced right now on PromoHomo.TV, and you can find them all at the website. And until next time, I'm Nicholas Snow.